I took time off work, spent hours every night planning a surprise party. For my wife's 40th birthday, tracked down her childhood friends, hired a private chef, booked a gorgeous venue. The night before the party, I found a group chat where she wrote, "He's such a pathetic idiot. It's honestly disgusting. Does this loser really think a stupid party will make me forget how useless and boring he is? Being with him is the biggest mistake of my life. I can't stand even looking at his dumb face anymore." Her friends egged her on, calling me a joke and a doormat, laughing about how desperate I am. I just smiled, closed the laptop, and created a plan. Yesterday, my wife called 15 times begging me to undo what I did, so I guess I'm just gonna start from like the weirdest Tuesday night a couple weeks ago when Melissa, my wife, 40 now, I'm Griffin, 38, and I were grabbing tacos after her gym thing. She's scrolling through her phone while I'm ordering. Doesn't even look up and just says out of nowhere, like, some people get way too hyped about big birthdays. It's almost sad. I thought she was talking about her friend's husband who rented a karaoke bus for his wife, so I laughed it off. But I remember thinking, that's kind of cold, even for her. She's always had this thing where she roasts people for trying too hard, but lately it's like, I can't do anything right. Maybe I should have seen it coming. Anyway, I'd been prepping this whole surprise party thing for months. Not even gonna lie, it was a ton. Like, I was tracking down her old friends from this badminton club she used to talk about, not even on Facebook, had to go through her sister Isabella, who's actually cool, and helped out. And I booked this private chef who does these pop-up dinners, because Melissa's been on a vegan kick and is picky as hell. I even took time off work, which is a mess in itself, but whatever. I was juggling the venue, group chat with her family, keeping her schedule open, whole thing. I thought I was being slick, like NGL. I was kind of proud of myself. But the last couple weeks, she's been even weirder. She'd come home late, always work drinks or catching up with Mira, but then she'd get home and just go straight to her phone or iPad and basically ignore me. She'd make these little digs like, "Oh, did you remember to get oat milk?" or "Sure you can handle dinner tonight," that kind of thing. IDK, maybe I'm sensitive, but it felt like she was just checked out. Not even mad, just like over it. She forgot our anniversary, first time ever. And when I mentioned it, she just goes, "Oh, right, sorry. I was busy." I mean, damn. So last Friday, the night before her party, I was in our bedroom trying to put together this Spotify playlist with all her old favorites, and her laptop was open on the bed. I wasn't snooping, I swear, but her messages kept popping up in the corner, and I saw my name. Like, not even subtle, just Griffin. So yeah, I know I shouldn't have, but I clicked. I figured maybe it was her sister or something. Nah, it was some group chat called The Real One. And it was Melissa, Aubrey, her BFF from college who never liked me, Mira, and some others I barely know. I started reading. And legit, I wish I hadn't. She was just going off, like, not even venting, just straight up roasting me, saying I was pathetic, desperate, calling me a doormat, saying I was disgusting for trying to do this party, that I was boring as hell and she couldn't stand looking at me. And her friends were piling on like, "Why are you still with him? He's such a joke. You deserve better, blah, blah." And they're laughing about how I probably think this party is going to fix everything. Aubrey said, "I'm probably going to cry if anyone gives a speech." Mira said, "I'm like a lost puppy, just brutal." And it went on for a while. Like, I scrolled back and it was weeks of this. Not just about me, but mostly. Apparently, she's been annoyed with me for years. Thinks I'm holding her back. I'm safe, I'm easy. I guess I always knew she liked to talk asterisk tea with her friends, but it was different seeing it written out, like they were trying to one-up each other. And the wild part is, she never talks to me like that, not directly. Always these side comments, but never straight up. I should also say I'm not even surprised about Aubrey because she's always had it out for me. IDK if it's because I called her out for being a snob at our wedding or what. But she's been waiting for Melissa to dump me, I swear. Mira's just a follower, TBH. But seeing Melissa say this stuff about how being with me was her biggest mistake, yeah, that hit. So I just sat there, kinda numb, then pissed. I closed the laptop. I didn't say anything, just walked downstairs. She was in the living room watching some reality show and didn't even look up when I came in. I watched her for a second, thinking, like, how long has she felt this way? Why not just say something? Why do all this if you hate me? I don't even know what I was feeling, but it wasn't sadness. It was like this switch flipped. I went back upstairs and started canceling everything. Chef, gone. Venue, canceled. Lost most of the deposit, but whatever. Told Isabella to stand by, I'd explain later. I didn't want her to be part of this mess. I texted a bunch of people to say plans changed. Don't show up at the venue. I left the group chat with her family, said sorry for the late notice, party's off. Then I started thinking, why should I be the one to save face for her? Why should I cover for her and make her look good in front of these people? She wants to clown me in her group chat, fine. But I'm not going to sit around and pretend everything's normal while she's tearing me down to everyone she knows. So I started making a new plan and well, it felt good to have something to do. I didn't sleep that night. I just kept replaying stuff in my head. All these times I thought we were fine and she was just stressed and realizing, nah, she just doesn't respect me, never has. I guess that's the part that stings, but it also made it easy to decide what to do next. I'm not going to let her take another shot at me, not in public, not anywhere. Not even going to let her friends laugh at me behind my back. Next morning, I got up before her, packed a bag, and left. I didn't leave a note or anything. I just texted Isabella, said I'd explain soon, and turned off my phone for most of the day. I started putting together the rest of my plan, but that's for later. Let's just say it's not going to be a fun birthday for her or her little crew. IDK if anyone's even going to read this, but yeah, that's where I'm at. Not looking for advice, just needed to get this out. Part of me feels sick, part of me feels like finally I get to push back. I'm not a doormat, not anymore. I'll update if anyone cares. Update 1. So yeah, I guess I should have known things would get wild after I bailed that morning. I slept at my brother Everett's place, not that I slept much. He's got a futon in his living room and legit. His dog kept trying to lay on my legs all night. Weirdly comforting. Anyway, I left my phone off until like noon. When I turned it on, I had 3 missed calls from Isabella, 2 texts from my mom. She thought I was sick. LOL. Classic. And nothing from Melissa. Not a single message. She always texts if I'm not home, even if it's just passive-aggressive. That was my first sign she was either pissed or hadn't noticed. Both are pretty on brand for her lately. I'm not going to pretend I was some mastermind here. I just started doing what I'd want if I found out someone was clowning me behind my back. First things first, I logged into all the joint accounts we had. Banking, grocery delivery, the stuff where she uses my card by default. Switched the passwords. Nothing dramatic, just standard, clean break stuff. I wasn't going to pay for her oat milk runs or cover her fancy gym classes after what I read. I left her enough to get by. I'm not a monster, just not going to bankroll her while she's talking trash about how useless I am. Isabella called again. She was like, "What the hell happened? Melissa's acting weird. She's texting me non-stop." I just told her the party was off and I'd explain later, but to maybe tell people not to show up. She didn't push, which I appreciated, but I could tell she was annoyed. She's always the one stuck in the middle. I started messaging people who were invited to the party just straight up. Plans have changed. Don't come to the venue. Sorry for the short notice. I didn't give a reason. I left Melissa's Real Ones crew out of the loop on purpose. Aubrey, Mira, all those folks who were hyping her up in that chat, they got nothing. I thought about sending them screenshots, but I figured that was too much, too soon. Instead, I just removed them from the calendar, invite, and the group DM. If they wanted to drag me, they could do it without getting free dinner and drinks on my dime. I did end up telling Isabella a little more, just that I found something on Melissa's laptop and that I wasn't cool with how things had been. She asked if we were breaking up. I said IDK yet, but it's not looking good. I called the chef, canceled. He was pissed, but I paid the kill fee. Whatever. At least I didn't have to see his face when he heard the drama. The venue was a mess. Non-refundable deposit. But I moved the booking into Melissa's name and told the event manager to call her for final payment. I canceled the spa thing I'd booked for her and her friends. Also non-refundable, but that refund's coming back to my card. I started going through our joint expenses and flagged all the ones that were basically just for her or her friends. I didn't want to be petty, but I also wasn't going to sit around getting dunked on by her group chat while funding their brunches. Melissa still hadn't called or texted by that afternoon, so I figured she was either out with her friends or just didn't care I was gone. That changed around 6 p.m. She called. I didn't answer. Then she texted asking where I was, why I wasn't home, could I pick up wine on my way back? Like nothing was wrong. I left her on read. When I got home around 8, she was in the kitchen, on her phone. She didn't look up. I put my bag down and she goes, "So what's your problem? You're being weird." I just told her, "Party's off, I'm done." She looked at me like I'd just spoken another language, then started getting mad. She wanted to know why. Who, I told, was her family going to think it was her fault? I said it is her fault, actually. She tried to get in my face, pushing my arm, accusing me of ruining her birthday. I told her I read the group chat. She just stared at me and then slapped me. Not hard, but enough to make her point. I told her if she wanted to yell, she could do it somewhere else. She slammed the fridge door and stormed upstairs. I heard her on the phone, probably with Aubrey because she kept saying my name and cursing. I texted Isabella, told her what happened, sent her a screen of the chat, not the worst part, but enough. She sent back, "Damn, okay, I'm on your side. Just say the word if you want me to deal with mom and dad." Honestly, Isabella's always been the only one in her family who sees Melissa for who she is. Melissa came back down later. She tried to act like she hadn't just slapped me, wanted to talk logistics. Are we still doing dinner with her parents? Can I at least make it look like her idea to cancel the party? I told her no, not covering for, not making up some story to save face for her friends. She got mad again, tried to take my phone. I blocked her with my arm, told her to back off. She tried to grab the keys off the counter. I moved them. She threw a kitchen towel at me and went back upstairs. Next day, I get a call from her mom asking if I'm okay. Did I get food poisoning or something? I just said plans changed. Her dad texted me not to stress. Apparently he's seen Melissa blow up before. I get that now. She's always treated me like I was the backup plan, the safe choice. And now that she's 40 and feeling stuck, it's easier to blame me than do something about it. Half her friends are single or divorced. They all egg each other on. I think Melissa hangs on to her resentment because she's scared to actually be alone. That's why she's so mean about it. It's not even about me most of the time. By late afternoon, Aubrey and Mira started texting. Mira asked if the party was still on. Said she never got an update. I just told her she should check with Melissa. Aubrey sent something snarky about me having a meltdown. Guess she didn't know I'd seen the chat. I didn't answer, just screenshotted her message and sent it to Isabella. Melissa's been cold since then, barely speaking, mostly just sulking or slamming doors. She tried to get into my face again that night, pushed me when I blocked her from grabbing my wallet. I told her I'm not paying for her to go get drinks with her friends and talk shit about me. She said I was being dramatic, that all couples vent. I told her there's venting, and then there's calling your husband pathetic and useless in front of everyone you know. She rolled her eyes and left. I heard her outside slamming her car door. I spent the next morning going through more of our stuff, making lists of what's mine, what's hers, what I'm not willing to split. I called my parents, told them a bit. They were kind of shocked, but not really. They always said Melissa was strong-willed. My brother said I should just move out, but I'm not giving up the house that easy, not after all this. Melissa came back late that afternoon, smelling like gin and perfume. She walked right past me, straight to the bathroom, slammed the door. I heard her crying, but I didn't go after her. I'm done being her emotional punching bag. She's trying to get sympathy from everyone, but nobody's buying it except Aubrey. And even she's going quiet now that I'm not paying for anything. So yeah, party's off, chef's out, her friends are pissed, her family's asking questions, and I'm just here, not backing down. Not gonna let her rewrite the story this time. If she wants to act like I'm the problem, she can do it without my help or my money. I'm not sure what's happening next, but I can tell you it's definitely not going to be the birthday she thought she deserved. More soon. Update 2. Alright, so here's where it actually got messy. After that whole night with doors slamming and her acting like I'd just ruined the world, Melissa was basically pretending I didn't exist, except when she needed to yell at me about bills or ask where I hid my card. I know that sounds chill, but Angle, the tension was wild. Like she'd start humming just to fill the silence, or she'd scroll TikTok with the volume way up. If I even walked in the kitchen, she'd leave right away. Deadass. It felt like living with a pissed-off cat. By the next day, her friends started texting. I could see the names pop up on the CarPlay screen when I ran errands, so I knew Aubrey and Mira were on the warpath. Aubrey dropped a bunch of dun in the group chat. Then Mira messaged me some guilt trip about how Melissa was going through it, and I should be more supportive. I didn't bother answering. Not my job to explain anything to either of them. I sent Isabella another screenshot, just Aubrey calling me a loser. Isabella just said, "Don't worry about them, focus on yourself," which is classic. Her. She's been through this with Melissa before, just not as public. Melissa's mom called that afternoon, which she never does, usually just a text for holidays or birthdays. She wanted to know if Melissa was okay, said she'd sent some weird messages about everyone abandoning her. I just said, she might want to check in directly, I'm not playing middleman. Later that night, I heard Melissa in the bathroom on FaceTime. Her voice all shaky. She kept saying, "No one understands. They're all taking his side. I'm not the bad guy here." She slammed the bathroom door, then the bedroom door, then the closet door. Like 3 in a row. No joke. Then the venue called, asking if I was still the point of contact for the party deposit. I told them it's in Melissa's name now. She can handle it. The woman sounded annoyed, said Melissa hadn't picked up their calls. I laughed and said, "Get in line." I could hear her typing something angrily. So now Melissa's on the hook for the rest of the bill. She's not getting that deposit back, and the event manager made it clear they'll chase her for the balance if she ghosts. Next, Aubrey tried to stir drama in the group DM, saying I was financially abusing Melissa by not covering her credit card. Isabella snapped back, said, "Maybe don't run your mouth about people you barely know." Huge shocker. Aubrey left the chat after that. Mira started backpedaling, saying she just wanted everyone to get along, but she never actually apologized for anything. Classic. Melissa finally confronted me 2 days later. She waited until I was making coffee, then just came in and pushed my shoulder and started shouting about how I'd humiliated her. How dare I tell her family anything? I told her she did that herself. Maybe stop calling your husband pathetic in a group chat next time. She tried to grab my phone. I held it above my head. She slapped my arm and stormed off. She texted Isabella. Some long rant. Isabella sent it to me. It was mostly, "Can you believe him? I did nothing wrong. He's ruining my life." Not even owning up, just pure victim mode. Here's the kicker. Her own parents started siding with me. Her dad called to say, "Sorry she's being like this. We're not surprised. She's always been like this with people who try to help her." I straight up said, "I'm done covering for her." And he just sighed and said, "Yeah, probably for the best." My own parents got involved too because Melissa texted my mom some half-baked story about me abandoning her. And my mom just replied, "Maybe you should talk to Griffin about that." I swear, I never thought my family would be the ones with more chill in this situation. Melissa's friends started bailing. Aubrey blocked me on everything. Mira went radio silent after I ignored her guilt trip. Even the friends I'd tracked down for the party stopped responding to Melissa. Guess they didn't want to be in the middle of her drama. Only Isabella kept in touch, and she started coming by to check on me, bringing snacks and asking if I wanted to crash at her place if Melissa got physical again. I said I'm good, but thanks. The financial stuff really hit Melissa next. She tried to use the joint card at the grocery store and got declined. Came home furious. Pushed the door so hard it bounced off the wall. She demanded I unlock the accounts, said I was being cruel. I told her to use her own card, or better yet, ask Aubrey for help since she's got so many opinions. Melissa threw her keys at the counter and walked out. I watched from the window as she sat in her car for like 10 minutes, probably texting the whole group chat. She finally peeled out and was gone for hours. Isabella told me later that her parents offered Melissa money for the venue if she apologized, but Melissa refused, said she wasn't going to beg for anything. This was all my fault. So now she's stuck paying a bill she can't afford. Her friends stopped answering. Her family's basically done. And I'm not backing down. For the first time since I can remember, I actually feel like I've got some power in this house. I'm not saying I'm happy about any of this, but I'm not sorry either. She spent years acting like I was just background noise, someone to blame for her own boredom. She treats everyone like they owe her something, then flips out when people stop playing along. Even now, she can't admit she cocked up. It's always someone else's fault. Last night she tried again, came in after midnight smelling like tequila and old perfume, and started yelling about how I'd ruined her life, how I'd turned everyone against her. She pushed me when I told her to chill. I just blocked the door and let her rant. Eventually, she gave up and slammed the door again. So yeah, her real one's ditched. Her family's out and I'm still here. Still not paying her bills, not making up stories to cover for. I know she's going to try something else, she always does, but I'm not backing down. I'm not her safety net anymore. I guess this is what happens when you push people too far. Next update soon, if you're still reading. Not over yet? Finally update. So IDK if it's karma or just basic consequences. But yesterday was wild even for this whole mess. It started with Melissa just being way too quiet, like not just the silent treatment, but actual tiptoeing around the house. Holding her phone so close, I thought she was going to drop it in her coffee. I caught her peeking at my laptop more than once, like she thought I had some secret plan, which is hilarious because I stopped plotting days ago. At this point, I just wanted out. She only spoke to ask if I'd seen her charger. I hadn't. And if I was going to the store. I said nope. Then the calls started. Not calls to me at first. Calls to basically everyone else. I heard her in the bathroom on speaker, voice all shaky, telling Aubrey that her whole life was falling apart, that I'd cut her off, and made her look like a clown in front of everyone. Aubrey must have said something that pissed her off because Melissa snapped back, said she didn't want to hear about healthy boundaries from someone who never had a real relationship. Then she slammed the bathroom door hard. Right after lunch, she tried to corner me in the kitchen, asking why I was doing this to her, why I couldn't just let it go and act normal. I told her I was done carrying her drama, not going to pretend she was the victim. She shoved me, not even that hard, but enough to make it clear she wanted a reaction. I didn't give her one, just moved past her and went back to my emails. She called me a coward, then texted Isabella some rant about how I was making her homeless. Isabella replied, maybe try an apology for her. The real circus started after that. My phone started blowing up. 15 missed calls from Melissa in like 3 hours, plus a pile of texts. The voicemails ranged from fake calm, Griffin, please, can we just talk, I'm sorry if you misunderstood, to pissed, you're ruining my life, I hope you're happy, to straight up begging, I can't do this, please just undo it, I'll fix everything. She even sent a few voice notes which I didn't listen to. I deleted them, not out of spite, just because I didn't need to hear more excuses. She tried to get into my car when I was leaving to get groceries, actually yanked the door, then slapped the window when it didn't open. I told her to back up. I needed space, and she just started crying. I drove off, and when I got back, she was gone. 2 hours later, she came back with Isabella, who just glared at me and shook her head like, you know this is a mess, right? I nodded, said nothing. Later that night, Melissa tried one last time. She waited until I was half asleep on the couch, came in and sat next to me. She looked rough, like she hadn't slept in days, which, honestly, probably true. She asked if we could just start over, if I'd help her fix things with her family, pay the venue bill, maybe talk to her friends, just be a team again. I told her I'm not fixing what she broke, not paying for her mess, not pretending I'm the bad guy so she can save face. She started crying again, tried to grab my arm. I pulled away. She slapped my shoulder, stormed upstairs, slammed the door. I texted Isabella, told her I was leaving in the morning, that she should keep an eye on Melissa. Isabella just said, "I'll handle it. You do what you gotta do." This morning I packed my stuff. Nothing fancy, just a couple bags and my laptop. Melissa tried to block the door, said I couldn't just walk out, that I'd regret this. I told her I already regretted wasting so much time. She tried to shove me. I pushed back, told her to move. She did, but she kicked the wall on my way out. I'm at Everett's now, sleeping on that same lumpy futon. But honestly, I feel lighter. Melissa's still texting, still calling, but I blocked her. Isabella says she's finally realizing she burned every bridge, even with her parents. The venue sent her another bill. Aubrey's not answering her calls. Mira's ghosted. No one's offering to pay the deposit or cover her credit card. Her mom called me to apologize again, said, maybe it's time for Melissa to figure things out on her own. I took out all my stuff from the joint accounts, changed every password, moved bills to my name only. I'm not paying for her spa trips or her streaming services or her endless oat lattes ever again. She wanted to embarrass me to her friends, tell everyone I was a loser, that I'd never stand up for myself. Now she's alone with her mess and her bills, and I'm not cleaning it up. Not gonna lie, I don't feel bad. I'm not angry anymore, just tired. I know some people will say I went too far, or that I should have handled it different. But after reading all that Shasterisk D and getting slapped around for trying to do something good, nah. I did this for me. I'm not her emotional punching bag anymore. So that's it, I guess. My phone's finally quiet. I'm not sure what comes next, but I know for real I'm not going back. Not for her, not for her friends, not for anyone. She can call as much as she wants, but I'm done picking up. Thanks for reading if you made it this far. If you ever feel like you're being played for a fool, trust your gut. I wish I had sooner.